Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to be here today with all of you. I am Grace Bastidas. I'm a mom of two kids, two girls actually, and the founding editor of Parents Latina, which is a magazine and brand that covers topics all parents care about, from education to safety to health. But the heart of what we do is really guiding parents to raise multicultural kids who are proud of their culture. And we have a fabulous panel here today with all these wonderful ladies. It's titled The Truth About Rapid Expansion, Exploring the Highs and the Lows. So all of you today are here to share tips on how to successfully navigate rapid business growth. So let me just get on with introducing these fabulous ladies. First, we have Andrea Faulkner Williams. She is the head mama and co-founder of Tubby Todd Bath Co., a body care line launched in 2014 as a solution to her own family's sensitive skin. She is fueled, like me, by Latin pop music, Diet Coke, and a love for connecting with others. She lives in San Diego with her husband Brian and is the mom to four kids. Oh my gosh, that really deserves a round of applause. Then we have Kelly Bueller. Did I pronounce that right, Kelly?
It's Buller, like bull.
Buller. Yes, gotcha. So Kelly Buller is a new mom, and she founded Austin Baby Collection in 2019. The range features thoughtfully designed and environmentally friendly baby and children's products inspired by the modern on-the-go parent. And the collection launched in Target this fall. Congratulations, that's huge. Next, we have Cindy Ramirez, New York City native like me. And you, mom, Cindy Ramirez Fulton, right, is the creative director and co-founder of Chill House, a wellness destination for modern self-care, offering facials, massages, manicures, pedicures, and an infrared sauna room called Chill Heat. We can all use that right about now. She is also the editor-in-chief of the website The Chill Times, which covers wellness topics. And next we have Bree Clark. Hey, Bree, a mom of twin boys. Bree Clark is an award-winning TEDx speaker, media personality, and community influencer. She is the founder and creative director of the Iman Project, a lifestyle brand that builds a diverse community through style, design, and workshops, ensuring everyone has a seat at the table. I love that. Together with her husband Carlos, she recently also opened two lifestyle studios in Dallas with the focus on bringing the community together. Her goal is to show diversity is more than race. That is wonderful. So let's get on with it. We have a lot of questions, and I'm sure a captive audience. So let's talk money. Um, let's go down the line and say how each of you fueled your business. And now, in hindsight, would you still go in that same direction? We can start with Andrea.
Yes. So my husband and I started Tubby Todd on our own dimes. So I guess you could say bootstrapped. Um, so he had worked in manufacturing and he kept his job for 3 years while we started the company. And I quit my job. I had been working part-time from home and then started to do Tubby Todd from home. 3 years into it, we had two or three part-time employees working remotely, and then contractors that we worked with. And then we brought on a round of friends and family funding. So we sold a minority share of Tubby Todd. We were lucky enough to have people that we felt comfortable bringing in. And those people are now equity partners that sit on our board. A few work here full time. And that allowed my husband, the sale of that minority share allowed my husband to quit his job and come on full time. So that was about 3.5 years ago.
And you'd still go in that direction.
You know, if I started another company, I would have enough confidence in myself to raise money from the get-go. But at the time, it didn't even occur to me to do that. Like it didn't, it didn't even occur to me to go out and raise cash. And when we decided to bring on friends and family, I would say don't bring on friends and family into your business unless God or a higher power tells you to. And so I felt inspired from within to do that. I wouldn't necessarily tell every person to work with their spouse or other family members, just because it can be super sensitive, but it's been great for us because it felt like the right thing to do.
Gotcha. So wait for a sign from the heavens.
Wait from a sign from the heavens. Yeah.
What about you, Kelly?
Yeah, so our kind of a unique story. We were bootstrapping ourselves. Like my husband's like, so how much more are we gonna put into this? Like, because we got nothing left. And I was like, hey, just hang in there, hang in there. And then all of a sudden the pandemic hit and we had to quickly raise some money based on our arrangements with how we were gonna get this made, all of our product made. So I got very, very lucky. I didn't seek out really investors, but I had some conversations with some friends and I got in a position where people offered like, hey, are you okay? Like, can we help you? And I was like, yes, actually, I haven't slept in months. Yes. So yeah, I was like scared to ask. And so I felt like the universe put something in front of me. And so one of those, but sorry, my son's at the door, banging at the door if you hear him.
Okay.
But
All
yeah,
part of the course.
yeah.
What about you, Cindy? How did you make it happen?
Yeah, we actually raised friends and family from the get-go. We knew we've actually in the past have had experience with raising friends and family. My husband owns a few bars in New York City as well, so that's been our path when it comes to building out spaces, when it comes to building companies, at least in the past few years. So that's what we felt comfortable with. And so far it's been great. Everyone's like, what I do love about a friends and family around is that, like, for the most part, it feels like everyone's there to support you. You have like kind of a built-in ambassador network, so to speak, people that really rally behind your company from the very beginning. And yeah, we've kind of continued as we're like trying to scale, as we're trying to, create new products. We're actually a full, like a kind of a full destination for self-care now. We have e-com, we're creating products, and so we're very like 360. And anytime we come up with new ideas, new concepts, we sometimes go back out to raise even more friends and family through convertible debt. So I like the way we've kind of done this. It still feels small, but now that we're getting a little bigger and we're trying to raise a little bit more capital, maybe from like outside investment, from like actual like, VCs or private equity, we're now that's like it's a whole new category that we're like a little nervous to explore, because it feels like right now we're in a very comfortable place. So I like the kind of slow and steady kind of growth path that we've created for ourselves. And I think that when you do it with friends and family, you have that the capacity to be a little bit more nimble, a little bit more like you still kind of do whatever you want, so to speak, versus like, having to kind of worry about your big dogs, right? So I'm happy with the way you did it.
That's great. That's a good support network you've got there. Bree, what about you?
Well, we're definitely self-funded. My corporate job that I was on forever funded basically my side hustle to become my main hustle. And ours is a little different. My husband and I, we came into our relationship, our business with nothing. We were homeless. We slept in our car, and we started our business with $60 to our name and all hand-me-down tools from my dad, because it started with building the farmhouse tables and the furniture. And so it was just all hand-me-down tools for everything. And so definitely self-funded, didn't have great credit, so couldn't go out there and get loans or anything from the bank. And then my husband's family is in Panama and Colombia. So we couldn't get a lot of help from our family because they really didn't have the money to do so. So yeah, it was just everything started. I look back at it, I'm like, how did we even start with like less than $60 to our name. Like, I don't even know how we did that. But like I don't know, the lady said, like true just grit and just, grinding and that hustle. But a lot of it had to do with like our corporate jobs and working. And even my corporate job wasn't like a big amount of corporate job. I made like $30,000 a year, but I was able to put back a little bit, and everything I made there, it's like whatever I had left over to pay the bills, that's what I used to fund the business.
That is so inspiring. Goodness. You just need that hustle, right?
Yep, just need that hustle.
Make it happen.
You do.
So let's talk about when you all decided to have your first hire, and how did you know you were financially ready for that? Anybody want to take this one? Kelly, did you, I'm assuming you've
I
got
am
some
still
hires.
in the beginning. I will tell you, I'm basically an employee of, it's a lot. So right now we are contracting out people, and I hope my first hire can be my designer, though she'd probably tell you she's full-time right now. But yeah, so I've just been really, I think one thing of how we've quickly launched this business and where we are right now is that I've been able to contract people that know how to do things that I do not. So I don't have one full-time person yet, but I hope to get there soon. So, but yeah, just right now, as there's a need and something that I'm like, you know what, I can't quite do that, we contract out.
What about you, Andrea? I know you say you've got this big old space and don't even see some of these coworkers due to the pandemic. When did you decide to hire somebody?
Our team is my absolute favorite thing about Tubby Todd. I mean, I love the products, so maybe I shouldn't say that, but I love finding people who are passionate about things that, like Kelly says, that I'm not necessarily passionate about. I'm passionate about the brand as a whole, but I realized really soon on at the beginning, like day one, that it was going to be emotionally destructive to me to try and do all of the customer service for our brand. Like I said, we're a direct to consumer brand, and I care so much about people's experience that I was like carrying around any negative feedback. And so I was in preschool pickup line about 2 to 3 months after we had launched Tubby Todd, and there was a mom there who was telling me about her little one who had albinism, and he had a lot of skin sensitivities due to his medical condition. So I handed her some Tubby Todd, and she was reading the label, and she was like asking about specific ingredients, and I literally asked her right there if she wanted a job, because she was so passionate about ingredients and so technical, and I knew that that was the exact person that I needed for our customer service role. And she became my first hire, and she was able to fill a ton of positions as far as like almost like my right-hand gal for a few years. And then from there, as we've had growth in the company, like we recently hired a new COO. He started a few months ago. And we didn't need someone to do a ton of spreadsheets and analysis because we had a CFO, but just as we're growing and as we're scaling, the inventory analysis is getting so much more difficult. And so I knew we needed someone who was passionate about analysis, and we didn't have anyone on the team. So highlighting like what that one skill is, and then finding someone who is crazy passionate about that, because as a founder, sometimes it's hard to find someone who's passionate about your brand as a whole, as passionate as you are, but that's not necessarily their job. Their job is to be passionate about that one element that's going to add to the entire brand. So that's my hiring advice.
Oh, I love that you were online at your preschool. That's great. Bree, what about you?
So we started basically in 2016, and I would say that not until 2019, we actually hired people to come on. And my whole thing was, of course, it's like, when you have come from nothing, you try to hold on to everything that you have. So I was like, okay, well, I'm making this money. Am I going to like pay somebody to come help me? Then I'm going to have less. And then, when we were starting in our garage, we didn't have any overhead. So then we moved into the actual space, and then we had 1 space, 2 spaces, now 3 spaces. So in my head, I'm just like looking at all of these things going out, and it really did to me, I'm like, okay, so if I'm paying everybody to do this work, and it was really hard for me to let the money go, basically. So then I had to actually sit down and then talk to my husband. And my thing is, he said, it's like, in order to make money, of course, you have to spend money. And if you're using all your energy on doing all these million jobs that you're not even doing 100% because you don't really know how to do it, you need to pay somebody that that does know how to do it. So I needed to, Canva couldn't help me every single time. I couldn't go to Canva. I needed to get a designer, right? I had to get an accountant. QuickBooks by myself wasn't working, so I needed to bring someone. So it's like, if I put in place these systems and put in people in place to operate these systems, it allowed me to be more of the Iman project and be more creative and let my creative juices flow and not let my energy be drained. And therefore I was allowed to make more money. So that's the hard part. People never really get to see. It's just like, you're spending money on bringing people on board, but at the same time, you're releasing that time, which time is money, and you're able to use that to make more money. So
that's great. So you got out of the weeds so you could see the big picture.
Exactly.
And so that you could get some sleep as well.
It's hard to let that money go, but when you let it go, it opens it up to make more money flow in.
So with you, Cindy, I'm sure you needed to get a staff, right? But
yeah, I mean,
in the beginning, who was your first
GM? Kind of similar to Andrea. I mean, I know, right? Like, I knew right away what my strengths were, what I didn't want to do, what I did want to do, where I wanted to put my focus in. And I knew that, I definitely am one of those people. I'm kind of like an empath, where like any bad review, I like take it all in, and it like destroys my day. And a lot of that in the beginning, and it still happens till this day. But I knew that a general manager would help, obviously, kind of curb all that day-to-day stress that like owners, founders, sometimes it's better to kind of like move past that and focus on the future, while also of course working on the positive or the constructive criticism, right? So for me, it was definitely like, obviously GM, I don't want to be the one running the store every day. I want to be growing the company, growing the brand. And so my husband and I actually didn't take a salary for a very, very long time. Because any money that felt like was extra was going right back into the business and growing and growing and growing. And we've been slowly growing. We're very modest in how we onboard new talent. We do a lot of contractors as well. I'm like definitely not ready to bring on like a CFO, but like we hire financial analysts anytime we're fundraising, like that sort of stuff, right? And I think that's been the key to kind of the slow and steady growth, is just knowing that I may not get paid like well right away, and I'm kind of in it for the long haul. I'm kind of in it because it's everything to me, but at the same time I'm able to supplement my income through, I have projects that I work on my own, and Chill House has been very great for me personally as like my own social media entity, in kind of boosting that up. So I don't resent the company in any way, because I'm still making a good living from that. So in so many ways, I kind of have felt that the best way for me to grow the company is to really bring on those people that I know is going to only make the company stronger. Whereas like if I did a little bit of everything, it wouldn't really get us anywhere fast, or anywhere well. So yeah.
But you had some experience, Cindy, because you already had 2 successful businesses, I believe, with your husband, Taste the Style and the Garret. So how did those experiences prepare you for Chill House?
Taste the Style, I mean, I don't know if I would call it like successful. I think it was on its way, and then we ended up pivoting that website. It was a lifestyle website, so I was blogging, so to speak. But yeah, I took that website and actually kind of pivoted it into the Chill Times. So that's what the Chill Times is now. It was Taste the Style, and it had a bit of a readership already, and we kind of gifted it to the company. But I guess that business in particular, I'd say, helped me really build an incredible network. And the reason I did that, I mean, I'm sure as an editor, it's, the media game is a game of relationships. You're constantly connecting with founders, you're connecting with experts.
Wait, Cindy, say that again, because people do not know that the media game is wrong. Say that again for people that think they can just pop up on TV and in magazines and everything.
What did I say? That it's a networking
it's building relationships.
Oh
Like,
yeah, the media game is.
people don't understand that now.
That's why publicists make a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a well-deserved paycheck, and you work those relationships with the editors and all that. And on my end, I was kind of like the editor, so I was making relationships with founders and entrepreneurs and again experts and all these people that I found really, really inspiring. And what I found from that experience is that it was actually like I didn't know, I was kind of preparing myself as a founder to really set up a really strong network to help my next business or any future business moving forward. So I was reaching out to women mostly that I found to be incredible and that had like really a great network on their own and great followings and so on and so forth. And that network was the network that really helped us launch Chill House, and we're there to support us. There are launch parties there, and they're still like our fans to this day. So I found that the major thing I think that business helped me with was to create that network that is now how hopefully I think has set us up for success. Sorry, my husband just walked in.
That's great. What about you, Kelly? So Austin Baby Co. launched in 2019. I remember 2019 because 2020 has really cast a shadow on everything, but that was just last year and you're already in Target. That is amazing. Can you tell us about that experience? Like, what is the process for launching at a big box retailer?
Oh my gosh. Woo! Well, it's been a ride. In many respects, we were still concept selling when we approached Target. And we basically told a story to senior leadership in the merchandising team. They kind of took this like meeting with us. I mean, this is like a wild story. They took a meeting with us. We told them like, this is what we believe in. This is what we're creating. This is what we want to do. And quickly they said, well, these are the kind of products we need. And pretty much from there, we listened to what they were saying. And because it's such a small company, I was able to very quickly create products that they had a need for. And I think we had a meeting in December and our product was shipped by July. So really, really, really fast. So I think we were basically like seizing the opportunity is why we got in. And just one of those awesome stories. But I think that we're fortunate in that, we had been communicating months prior to that with an amazing manufacturing facility, and they were able to quickly jump on our need and what Target wanted. And so, yeah, it was really like a partnership, both with Target and with our production facility. And so from that December meeting to July, it's been wild. I could talk your ear off about it. But again, I think my big takeaway and what I would give other people advice, and I feel like silly giving advice at all, but I'm like, is just figure it out. I've always been one of those people who's like, yep, I'll figure it out. Yep, there's a way. I got this, seizing the opportunity. So yeah.
And being nimble, right?
Oh my gosh, yep. Take it till you make it, yep.
Good for you. So Bree, there is so much to the Iman project, the studio, furniture design, workshops. Like, how do you choose what business to pursue? How do you focus your time? And have you ever said no to something?
I say no to a lot. So first off with that one, or I wouldn't have any sanity. I don't have sanity, but that's the most important thing is if it's not a hell yes, it's a no to me, just right off the bat. And I know like when you look at our brand and the Iman project, it is a lot going on, but I make sure that everything is connected. So everything is cohesive. That was the whole thing while I was building the brand. It's like you wouldn't have one if you didn't have the other. And I didn't just start everything all at once. It organically flowed into the next thing. And so I feel like that's why it's kind of easy for us to do the workshops and then host the events and the markets and build the tables, and because it's just all flowing into one. So I just really like to always tell people that it's like you can do a lot of different things, but just make sure that they have one underlining connection foundation. And I feel like in everything that we do, our main goal is diversity. community and ensuring that everyone has a seat at the table. So we do that at our studios so that, I opened the studios because I felt that people would have these spaces and they would be kind of picky and choosy of who they wanted to have the events there. And not everybody was given a chance to show what they have and show what they can do. So that was a space where everybody felt as though they had a seat at the table. With the workshops, I wanted to make sure that no matter who you were, where you're from, where you're going, that you were able, and how much money that you made, that you were able to have a creative space to create something magical next to someone that doesn't look like you. And then for the furniture, it was Carlos and I came from nothing. We knew that we couldn't afford a farmhouse table from Restoration Hardware or West Elm or whatever. So I wanted to make tables that were affordable for families to be able to enjoy meals, memories, and moments. So if you make sure that your why, you know why you started, and that basically where you want to go. You don't have to know where you're going, but just know kind of an idea of what you want to do. Then just kind of like Kelly said that, she just kind of, you figure it out. So our thing is everything has the same goal. And so if everything in my brand has the same goal, I'm making that goal, then I'm doing exactly what I'm meant to be doing.
I'm going to take that with me. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no.
No.
That's really great.
Hell no.
That's my new mantra. Andrea, so Tubby Todd has a cult following on social media. How did you grow your community in 6 years?
Well, I love what Cindy said about the media relationships. And it sounds like that's something that has been really impactful to them. We have not been great at PR. A ton of brands that launch, like they're featured in Vogue or they're featured in Parents Magazine or Latin Parents Magazine. And am I saying
Parents Latina? It's in English.
Parents Latina,
yeah.
Which we'll have to talk after this because here we go. And that's not been great for us. We have been great at working with influencers. That's what we're good at, and that's our superpower. For some reason, one reason or another, we've been good at gifting influencers. We have an ambassador program with over 2,000 mamas in it who are wild about Tubby Todd. We have our top tier influencers that work with like an affiliate link. We work with affiliate sites. That's something that has been great for us, and it's helped our social following grow. So I love what Bree said about if it's not a hell yes, say no to it. And so many times we've gone after traditional media and it's kind of fallen flat. And not to say we won't continue to do that, but for us, the more we lean in to what we're good at, what we call our superpower internally, and for us, that's influencer gifting and working with influencers in their unique situation and creating campaigns with them and doing photo shoots and giveaways. The more we see our social following go up, the more we see our community of women grow who are wild about Tubby Todd and wild about being a mama. We have a Facebook group that's a private group. It's about 20,000 women. And they are in there literally all day talking about my in-laws are coming to visit. Like, give me a pep talk to help me be in a good mood. Or what are you getting your little one for their first birthday? Or do you guys have any great plastic-free alternatives to, building blocks? Like, they're talking about everything, and it's a safe spot that we moderate. So there's no shaming to make sure that they can talk about the sensitive things like circumcision and vaccinations and not feel like they're going to be attacked and just get some other mama's opinions. And that community, the charitable giving, the product growth, the sales, they all go up when we lean into our superpowers. So if you're looking to grow your social media following, if you're looking to grow, to have better media connections, I would do what Bree says and first tap into your why and then tap into what you do well and then just do more of it, and you'll find yourself more and more, and your community will find you too.
Nice. That's some good advice. So we know that all major business stories come with some setbacks. What were some of the major setbacks that you all experienced, and how did you overcome them? Cindy, you want to take this one? You're nodding your head.
Where do I begin?
I was going to say, I'm like, every time I hear about a startup in 2020 with a retail space, I'm like, I I think that's so
Give us a
cool.
hug.
Have your virtual give you a hug. No,
Group hug.
whatever. I want to high five you. I'm like, I went and looked at your blog, just seeing like the content you've created this year and the products that you're selling. Like, yeah, you're doing it right. Like you're making it work. That's so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, we have had obviously a very tumultuous year, but it was one of these like, I like to think I'm of the mindset that everything happens for a reason. Life is supposed to unravel as it's supposed to. You know, higher power is supposed to guide you down the path that you're intended to be in. So really, like, while no one loves this year, it really did kind of put us in this position of exploring this kind of product-based future, something that we weren't really, not that we weren't interested in the past, but that we didn't think we would be taken seriously for, or that we just, would get too distracted with like the day-to-day of like a flagship to actually like do it well and do it right and get on it. So that's kind of what happened. We were forced to close our stores in mid-March and obviously remained closed for several months after that. And during that time, we just kind of dove right into creating products. And so we've always done like little merch things, like, we have fangirls and people that like love just like representing our logo and things like that. So we do merch, we have candles. We have, they're like small products, I'd say. They're not like formulated products, right? So the first kind of step, I guess, in this future was bringing so we're very well known for our nail designs. And we get like, dozens of DMs on weekly, like, come to this city, please open in this city and blah, blah, blah. And like, it's mostly because I think people know us or want to get our nail designs and because they love the concept as a whole, like what Chill House, the space, represents. But so we decided our first product launch would be Chill Tips. So we created these like modern press-ons with our 3 most iconic designs. And that just like gangbusters, we like almost sold out, I'd say, with including some like retail partnerships pretty much in the first couple of months. So that went really, really well. And now we're kind of leaning into this future. So I'd say, yeah, it's like, while like that, obviously I cried myself to sleep a few nights or a few weeks, I'd say, the first couple of weeks that this all was happening. Looking back, I'm very, in a way, grateful because it put us in a path that I'm really happy with. And, not that I don't want to build more spaces, but it's a lot. It's a lot of, I'd say it's a lot of work for the reward isn't as high as maybe a product, financial reward, I'd say. Fulfillment reward, yes, but it's also, it's just a much tougher business, I'd say, to build a lot of spaces. So I'm very happy with this new future. And I think it was kind of like this weird blessing in disguise.
Well, good for you for being able to pivot, because that is really amazing during this time.
Thank you.
What about you, Kelly? Any setbacks?
Let's see. Yeah, I think what I can.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Let me mute this. I don't know what's happening. Is that me?
Okay.
Is it me?
Okay. Real life.
Yeah, right.
Wait, what is happening?
Kelly, you want to take this while Cindy figures out
Yes.
tech issues?
If it's me, let me know. So yeah, definitely doing something so quickly. There's a lot of things that we're.
You have to jump off, guys. Sorry.
Great.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon. Yeah. So everything happening so fast. There were a lot of, hiccups along the way and things that, in retrospect, we could have done differently, but we didn't have time. Right. So that's one thing about just saying yes and keep going. So there's some things that we're tweaking, whether it's like product wise, packaging, whatever, systems, the way we did things, yeah. So I would say just, you learn a lot of lessons along the way and you just keep adapting. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Good. What about you, Bree? Any setbacks?
Oh, it's all kind of setbacks.
Give us a couple.
So my first one, okay, so right when we started building the furniture, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're getting all these sales and everything is going really good. Let's open up a store. And no, it wasn't ready time to open up the store. So I opened up one first in Richardson, and this is for when we were doing like home decor and the furniture. And it's just like, I wasn't maintaining my lane. I was looking at everything else going on around me, and I wasn't sticking to what I actually knew when I was good at, which was building the furniture. And I could decorate it for myself, and I would find all these things, and people would be like, oh, I love the way you design and decorate, and they loved it in my style, but it really wasn't their style. So I would get all this stuff, and I would go and source it, and I had my Richardson store, and then I opened another location in Frisco, and that tanked because it wasn't the time. So I'm really big on seasons, and I feel that everybody has a season, and everybody should be okay with what season that they're in. Because if you try to kind of jump before it's too soon, or try to jump and not have like your parachute ready to pull open or whatever, and just not kind of maintain your lane, and you kind of like are focusing on everything else. I think I posted something this morning on Instagram showing that, that if your garden won't grow if you're worrying about what other people are planting. So I think back then, a lot of the times a lot of my failures came from me trying to focus not on what I was doing, but trying to focus on what everything was going on around me, online and offline. So as entrepreneurs, we all have highs and lows, but once you figure that out and you really do focus on you and what you're doing and sit in that, then everything else comes out pretty dope.
You're like the oracle, Bree. So keep your your eyes on your own tomatoes, ladies. Andrea, what about you? Did you have any major setbacks?
Oh, I mean, yeah. So I'll just share one, because I think that social media and just the internet makes business life look a lot more glamorous than it really is in the day-to-day. And so oftentimes people I'm really close with don't know the things that like we're dealing with on the back end, financially and legally. And not to say that I wouldn't do all of those things, but I'll just give you an example. So I had a pretty rough pregnancy with my fourth. My body doesn't love being pregnant, and I don't know why I keep doing it, but I had the baby, and 2 weeks after the baby was born, we closed on our building here in Carlsbad, which was super exciting for us. And then 2 weeks later, we received word that we were being sued in the end, it's like, it all just kind of wrapped up this last month. So the FDA is always changing what you can say, how you can market your products. So our products are 100% natural, but that's not a term that is, it's not super safe to say, because people can argue whether or not an ingredient is natural, right? So to guard ourselves as a company, we took off the term 100% natural off of our products. So when we redesigned our website, there was a few thumbnails at the bottom of one of the product images, like a lifestyle thumbnail, and the old packaging of 100% natural was back against a sink. And one of a predatory lawyer in New York found those images on our site. They scour sites for things like this and sued us, saying that their client had been harmed because we misrepresented our products about being 100% natural, right? Which is, I mean, people do crap like this all the time. And since this experience we've had, we just now realize
how do they have time to do that?
Well, exactly. I mean, they make money off of it. That's how they have time. That's their job. And so, we spent over $100,000 on this experience. But what was harder for me was I was feeling a little bit postpartum hormones flowing through my veins and trying to show up to work every single day with my baby and our team that we couldn't tell about the lawsuit yet, and trying to hold it together, like emotionally. And it was tough. It was really, really tough. It was not, it was not my finest moment. It was not my favorite time. And nobody knew that that was happening. And that's just like a small blip to what people experience in business, right? But one thing my dad told me when we were first starting Tubby Todd is he was like, because I was so overwhelmed with the process of getting everything up and going. And he was like, hey, if you wake up and go to work every single day and think, I'm just going to do one thing today. So like maybe today I'm going to get out an email to, this group of influencers, or I'm going to confirm with this manufacturer that we have this product coming at this time. Like you can call that a success. Just move the needle forward every single day with one project, right? And when I focus on that, that helps me like block out all of the lawsuits and the pandemics, so yeah.
Your dad sounds like a wise man.
Yeah,
So that's very good advice. But speaking of the postpartum journey, Cindy, I'm coming back to you. You have a newborn at home. How has becoming a mom, congratulations, first of all, how has becoming a mom changed your perspective?
That's a good question. I don't know how it's changed my perspective yet. I have, a newfound respect, I think, for mothers, working mothers, of course. It's taken me a long time to even get back into normal workflow. I gotta say, I would get really angry anytime somebody would follow up like multiple times in like the very beginning stages of my like maternity leave. I'd be like, listen, I just had a fucking child. Like, leave me alone. It's so infuriating that people like don't respect the boundaries there, right? And don't respect your time. And I would get really, really frustrated. And so eventually I'm just like, you know what, like I can't change anyone. Like this is what it is. I have to go back to work. And I needed to dive back in. So I think overall perspective wise, it's just opened my eyes to motherhood as a whole, and how incredible women are that are able to juggle everything, and even mothers that aren't working mothers. It is a job on its own, and it's very stressful at times. And to do it well, you have to, you want to give them your all, right? So like I feel guilty if I'm like kind of playing with him, but I'm also like on my phone answering emails, like I want to be present, right? So that mom guilt is very much there already, and I can't imagine, like I can imagine it multiplying like as he gets older, right? So I think that in itself has changed my perspective just as a whole, just the sacrifices women make to be both and do both really well. They're both the very big passion projects, to be a founder and to be a mother, the ultimate passion projects. So, but I'm very fulfilled. He's incredible. There's nothing like it in the world.
Gosh, amen to that, the sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
Andrea, you know a thing or two or four about this. Andrea, you have 4 kids. How do you do it? Please tell us the secret. I don't believe it's all Latin music.
I love me some Selena. She gets me through most of the day. No, I would say the most important thing is taking care of you, and that sounds so trite, but it is the truth. Like you got to figure out what your routines are. When I was pregnant with my 4th and just feeling so discouraged about failing at everything, I really spent like a day praying and meditating. Like, let's boil it down to 2 things that I need to do every day. And at the end of it, I felt like every single day I needed to move my body. So I needed to exercise in one way or another. Some days that's like a 10-minute walk, and some days I get like a hardcore workout in, right? It looks different every single day. And the other thing was every day I read with my kids. I read our scriptures with my kids. That's important to me, like religiously, and then also like that connection moment. And if I do those 2 things every day, I feel like I am killing it. I don't care if my kids have watched 4 hours of Mickey Mouse, if I have drank way too much Diet Coke and caffeine, like I don't care. That's what we're doing as a family right now. And those are the things that are keeping us together. So decide what is important to you and your family, and boil it down. What do you need? The mom guilt is real. Like I don't know about the mom guilt. I'm not sure how or why. I just hope that the next generation of women don't feel the same mom guilt that we do. I think it's going to get better. I hope it does, because my husband is the best dad ever and he doesn't feel any guilt. It's amazing.
Mm.
At the end of the day, we're the ones who carry the baby, and the baby's going to come out of our bodies. Not every woman carries her baby, and then they're going to feed off of our body. So I'm not sure why we have guilt when we're away from them for a little bit, because we've literally given them our bodies. But it's a crazy
I'm
thing.
part of that early generation. I don't have the mom guilt.
you
'Cause
think?
I feel like I'm building that while I'm away, why I don't have it is because I'm building a better future for them and building a better world. So
Yeah.
that's a bigger gift than even my time right now, especially me raising 2 Black men in today's world. So
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. And I think that's just something that I struggle with personally, but
I think that if you are reading that bedtime book, you did it. You did a great job.
Exactly.
That's like that's the last part of your day. You read that bedtime book. Amazing
That's
job,
it.
Mama.
yeah, that's it.
But Bree, you said that you don't have mom guilt, but do you have a self-care secret that you want to share? How you keep your sanity intact?
Mine is sitting on the floor in my living room and painting my nails. That is like my self-care thing. Sitting in the car, not going into the house a lot of times right away. And just when I'm tired, just learning to rest so that I won't quit and unplugging. So this year, even though 2020 has been a tough year for everyone, I feel like it's been a very eye-opening and a year that's needed, that the world needed, and that I personally needed. I felt like I wouldn't have ever stopped if the world didn't stop. So learning to know that self-care is not selfish and putting myself first more, and as a mama, and putting myself before my husband and just taking my time so that I can be there for my husband and for my kids and my business. I think that's just like the biggest thing that I've taken away from this year.
Nice. Well, Cindy, this lady right here, Bree, may need some press-on nails.
No,
That's our entire business. You just said our philosophy right there. That's
What about you, Kelly? Do you have any self-care secrets? I think we all need it.
Yeah, kind of
desperately.
similar to Andrea. I've been just like since the pandemic, I used to be like a Orange Theory girl and like yoga in a studio. Like I like to go to a place, and now I'm not going to a place. So I'm in Austin. We have a lot of beautiful trails. So I'm not a runner, but I've been running, right? So maybe I'm a runner now. So I try to run in the morning, and I think also what everyone else said, to echo them, is unplugging. I totally go the long way around the neighborhood before going into my driveway, sitting in the car, listening to a podcast about like nothing business related, so just, taking moments for self-care, and that's it.
I think you are a runner. If you're running, you're a runner.
Yeah, you're a runner.
Don't follow me. It's not cute.
I think we have time for some questions from the audience. All right. We have some good questions. So what if we ended on this note? So how has motherhood changed your perspective on running a business? I think we talked a little bit to Cindy about that, but Bree, motherhood, you don't have the mom guilt, which I'm going to text you about later to find out what the secret is to that.
I want in on this mom guilt-free life, Bree.
Yeah, I know, right? The reason I don't have the mom guilt, or the reason the thing is just like, because I give myself grace. I feel like we're so hard on ourselves as women already. And then we add being a mom, hard on ourselves, being a friend, being a sister. Like as women, we put so much shit on us, and we already have a lot of stuff going on. So why keep adding more stuff on our heart, on our head, on our plate? So I feel like that's like a lot of the thing. It's just like being a mother, being a business owner, and then kind of coming from nothing and losing it all and starting over. Just giving myself grace. And I mean, the same thing that I feel like we give it to other people, and we give it to ourselves last. And most of the time, we don't even give it to ourselves. So
give yourself grace. I love that. What about you, Kelly?
So for me, really, like motherhood has driven me to create my business. So I forgot to mention this earlier, I was working like two full-time jobs, breastfeeding, when I launched the business, which by the way, that's another full-time job, or not breastfeeding, feeding a child, feeding a baby, right? But yeah, so for me, I think like just creating a future for him that, I've just I've worked for so many places that are just, they don't see your true like value or skill set, or I don't fit in a box like with my skill set. And so I think it's always been like, you know what, I want to be in charge now, and like my destination, and like what are what I can do for my son and provide for him. So I feel like when he was born, like my creative juice like kicked into gear, and I was like, I have to do something for me that I can say my hours and, work really hard and see a benefit on the other side. And, yeah, I think I get more time with him now than I did in a corporate job, even though I'm working more. So I think it really has driven me.
That sounds like a math riddle. You're working more, but Andrea, what about you?
Um, I mean, we've seen this huge surge of female founded companies in the last 10 years. A lot of them, like influencers, bloggers, I consider those companies as well. These women who are oftentimes from home launching these multi-million dollar businesses. And I think it goes back to being a mom teaches you how to be the ultimate time manager. You are so quick with your time, and like um you're so able to knock out anything that you know isn't 100% necessary in your day. And the deeper I get into mothering and the deeper I get into having more kids, the better I am at managing my time and the better I am professionally. And so I really feel like being a mom has like made my career in so many ways take off, because it's like taught me everything I'm capable of. And then I am also able to see like success at home, but I'm seeing success at work. I'm like, it's been the greatest blessing for me in my professional life.
So motherhood is your superpower. So Cindy, you you already answered that question, but maybe you leave us with some words of wisdom. How do we chill? How do you chill?
Oh man, you just have to pencil it in. And actually, I think we all have ways that we've practiced self-care our whole lives, whether that's running, whether that's walking around for 10 minutes, whether that's sitting in your parking lot and saying like, don't come in, like, don't bother me. Honestly, we all have those already. So acknowledging those as those moments of self-care and doing something for yourself that makes you feel at peace and comforted and all that, I think that's kind of how you should approach those moments, right? And realizing that those moments are the ones that you've created for yourself because you care about yourself, and acknowledging that time. That way you don't resent, the stressful times at home. You don't resent the frustrating conversations with your team, and things happening at work and things happening with your kid and your marriage, whatever it is. So identifying those moments, knowing that you have done everything you could for yourself for that day as best as you could. Not every day is a good day, of course, but having some sort of foundation for that, I think, is very important for every mother, but every woman, everybody in general. So that's kind of
that is amazing. So many great tips during our conversation. I think the whole audience needs to say a hell yes to this panel. Thank you so much, ladies, for taking the time. I know that I've learned a lot from all of you. So, and good luck with everything.
It's nice meeting everyone.
Nice
Yes,
meeting
take
you
care.
guys.